quick half hour where you're going to learn about the FRNO, which stands for the Family Resources Network of Ohio. A great resource for our community. And I'm just going to go ahead and get started. So my name is Deb Peterman, and I'm with the Center for Disability Empowerment. I am a transition coordinator and community connector, and of course, a lot of other things as well, just like the rest of us. But as a Center for Disability Empowerment is a 501c3 non-residential independent living center. And it is driven by choice and direction of people with disabilities. We work with all people, all ages, all disabilities. We cover Franklin, Licking, and Union County, and we provide support and resources for people with disabilities to be participants and contributors as long as they live, of course, as they live, learn, worship, work, and play alongside everyone in their community. So today, as I said earlier, we're going to be talking about the Family Resource Network of Ohio. And I'm going to introduce Tracey Manz, who is the project manager of Family Resources Network of Ohio. Thank you so much for coming and joining us today. Tracey, it's good to see you. Where are you guys based out of?
Thank you, Deb. It's good to be here, and thank you for having us. We are based out of the Ohio State University's Nysonger Center.
And do you cover the entire state?
We do. The Family Resource Network of Ohio is statewide. And of course, we operate a website that is accessible and utilized internationally.
Yeah, and you also have a nice calendar of events that you post, so people could check in and see what our community is doing and how they're connected with you guys. So I'm going to ask you some questions, all right?
Sure.
Okay, so can you share a brief overview of the Family Resource Network of Ohio and its mission?
Absolutely. The Family Resource Network of Ohio is exactly what it sounds like. We provide resources to family members and people with lived experience throughout the state. And those resources can be in a variety of ways. You can come to our website, go to our resource page, and search. It's keyword oriented. And so if you want to learn more about, I don't know, for example, support groups around cerebral palsy, you could type that in and see what comes up. Resources for parents who have a child transitioning out of autism, that sort of thing. And those resources are available, but also if you have a resource, you can come and list it yourself onto our site as it is crowdsourced. So we love that because we certainly can't know everything that everyone's doing through the state. So we provide them that opportunity to come and utilize our resources there. It's quite nice. We have a learning center on our site where we also have products and media that are available that people can talk about and rate, that sort of thing. And one of our largest focuses is we utilize and are the hub for something called Charting the LifeCourse in the state of Ohio.
Well, Charting the LifeCourse is a pretty exciting thing going on here.
It is growing. We currently have two trainers that work for us, and they both, when I say trainers, they've been certified by the University of Missouri, Kansas City, which is where Charting the LifeCourse was born and is still operated by Dr. Shelley Reynolds. So I have two of their trainers who work with us and provide the majority of our trainings that we do through our website. We do this year, I think we're going to have about 160 trainings that we've offered. They are free because we have been very, very blessed to have sponsorship from the Ohio Department of Developmental Disabilities and the Ohio Department of Education and Workforce. So we offer a lot of in-person and virtual seminars where you can learn about and try using some of the tools from Charting the LifeCourse.
So, I mean, Charting the LifeCourse and your organization are kind of knitted. So like you said earlier, maybe you would consider yourselves the hub of the Charting the LifeCourse team in Ohio.
We are, absolutely. We work very closely with the University of Missouri, Kansas City, and they have deemed us such, the hub for charting the life course. Yes, in Ohio.
Well, we work together with you a lot,
Yeah.
especially during the grant that we've been working on called the Ohio Family Network. And I am an ambassador, and so is Tracey.
Yes.
How many ambassadors do we have in Ohio?
We have about 300 now, I believe.
Amazing,
Yeah.
amazing, amazing gift. Okay, so my next question is, can you describe some of the most popular, impactful programs through FRNO?
Absolutely. Well, certainly, as we mentioned, Charting the Life course has been amazing. But within Charting the Life course, we've had some tremendous impacts. Some of the series that we've offered is things about building personal networks. We've offered things surrounding using some of these tools to get a better ISP, so individualized service plan, or IEP. Charting the Life course is amazing, and with that, um, there's a lot to learn. People are excited about it and they want to know more. So we offer something called guided implementation, where after you learn about it, we actually give you the opportunity to use some of those tools, to actually implement them and sort of get the feel for them so that you can continue to share them with others. So I think those are some of the exciting things that we do.
Oh, yeah. I mean, how many of us really want someone to show us how it's done and to watch us do it however many times?
Give us a little feedback on how we did and what could I do a little bit better on it to make
Yeah,
it impact my family or my loved one even more. Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
All
We
right.
also, I should mention, we also have a really nice yearly showcase event that we host, which includes a workshop day. So we have a half day workshop the day before. So you could come and learn and try and use some of the tools if you're newer to the Charting the Life course. And then the next day, there's a full showcase where we really showcase the stories of people who've used the tools of Charting the Life course and how it's had such a positive impact on their lives.
How would you, how would you say Chart of the Life course impacted FRNO?
So I feel like Charting the Life course has become the core of what we do, because everything that we do through the Family Resource Network of Ohio is based on the principles of Charting the Life course and our core belief. And that is that all people have the right to live, love, work, play, and participate fully within their community, very similar to
Hmm.
your core belief.
Hmm.
And we want to make sure that that belief is expressed in all that we do.
Yes. And the wonderful thing, the tools are free and they promote conversation, they empower parents. You know, we never know what are the right questions to ask, and this
Right.
kind of gets that conversation going. It's a very exciting thing. So if you want to learn more about Charting Life Course, go to lifecoursetools.com.
Mhm.
All right, so let's see. How does FRNO uh, collaborate with families, professionals, and organizations across Ohio?
Oh, thank you. That's a great question. Shorter answer is in any way we can. But longer answer is we have a great mailing list. Anyone can sign up to be a part of it. And again, we host all these different offerings. So we are doing a series right now about how to use something called a one-page person-centered description, or it's basically a get to know me page, and how to use it for the program is being done for self advocates or people with disability members. Family members are welcome to attend with them, and it's teaching them, we're going to prepare how some of these one pages for you to take to your work, a doctor's visit, wherever you might need them. So that's a way we're reaching out to the community on something. But then also we have series designed for family members. We have one on caring for the caregiver. We reach out to professionals, and we do a great many webinars for them, and they have the opportunity to earn continuing education units through that. And then beyond that, on the website, sometimes they need help, but they don't know exactly what they need, because sometimes we don't know what we don't know. We don't know what to ask for. There's lots of places where they can just reach out to us and drop us an email and say, hey, this is what's going on with me. What can you do to help? Right? Or this is what's going on with my family member. Can you help me find this, that, or the other thing? And we're thrilled when we receive those kinds of things, because that just is the core of what we do, is reaching and helping those family members and people with disabilities.
Well, and the other thing about these tools is it connects all of our agencies,
It does.
and I have met the most wonderful people who are ambassadors for Charting the Life Course. Many have lived experience.
Yes,
Many might have a family member. I'm a sibling myself. I wish my parents had something like that. I'm older, so we had a harder journey than what's going on today. But
certainly.
to be able to get these tools, whether it's in Spanish or Somali or English, and it's very topical, so we're reaching the marginalized folks, and I cannot express how I have benefited from it, and it has empowered us to help our consumers. So,
Same.
how can families and self-advocates use FRNO resources? Is there support available to help them
Absolutely.
navigate the tools?
Absolutely. So again, they can come to our website. We have a whole tab that talks about charting the life course. Some of our ambassadors are listed on our page. So an ambassador is someone who has essentially gone through some additional training on charting life course and the tools, and are able to help share that information. They've used the tools in their practice and whatnot. So they can come there and they can learn all about it. While they're there, they can download the forms that they want. And also they can request any help that they may need from there. But beyond that, there's other tabs on our website. There's one that just says trainings, and that's that wonderful calendar of events that you mentioned.
Mhm.
And that doesn't talk about charting the life course. We are trying to make this calendar of events a one-stop shop where everybody who has an event that could be disability friendly in our state will start uploading their information onto that calendar so that folks can come and say, what's going on this month? And then when they get there, they can come and see all the different trainings, options, opportunities that are available there. It ranges from, yes, our trainings to we have the ECHO program through Nationwide Children's. We've got that on there. When the Columbus Zoo or the fair have sensory days, we make sure that those are on there. And some attorneys in town do talks about special needs trusts and what we need to set up to be ready to help care for our folks with disabilities into their future. And we'll load those on there so that it's got a little something for everyone. And I should also mention that the Department of Education here in Ohio has really seen the value in charting the life course, and they are great supporters of ours. They sponsor our program, and we have an education tab where it's for education professionals to come and say, "Hey, how can I use this in my work?" But also for family members and people with disability to say, "How can I use this to communicate better with my school system, to build into my IEP more of what I want and my needs," that sort of thing.
Yes, until I became my brother's guardian, I had no personal experience regarding an IEP and what families go through. Um, and after I attended my first one, which was an in-home plan at that point in time, and how I noticed that they're always talking about negatives of what my brother's behavior, and always talking about him. And first of all, as a sibling, I did not want my brother in our meetings because he was nonverbal.
Right.
His main disability was developmental disabilities, and here we are talking about his bad behavior. So I've always noted it on our record that I've requested that he not be involved, but I understand when it's great to have that person involved. When they
Well, I
have,
think that's a difference in the thinking with charting the life course. When
hmm
we're going to go in, we're going to look at that person not as their disability, which is how we
hmm
used to do things. We would
yes,
come and we would say, well, your brother is a person who's nonverbal and has an intellectual disability.
hmm
And charting the life course is going to say, Deb, your brother's a guy who loves socks. That's a fun thing about him. He enjoys that, and he enjoys these things, and he could be funny when he's able to do certain things and whatnot. And talk about who he is.
yes,
And we're not going to avoid that there might be some things that cause some difficulties or complications, but they're not all of who he was, right? Or so that's the idea behind charting the life course, is we're going to come in and look at them as a whole person with
hmm
disability just being a part of it.
Thank you for mentioning the socks. Yes, that was his go-to comfort.
Yep.
That's all he
Um,
wanted for Christmas was a pair of
Socks.
socks.
That's easy.
Okay, so what are some upcoming initiatives or projects that FRNO is excited about?
Oh, sure, sure. So we've got a few things on our horizon here. I mentioned that we're going to do this sort of open guided implementation series. That open series is for service and support administrators to help them learn how to use these tools to help the people that they work with on their caseloads. So I'm excited about that. The series kicks off in April. And it's 7 different sessions that'll go through August. But there are continuing education units available for service and support administrators, or that's basically county board employees who can attend that. We also have quite a few events on our calendar coming up, like an introduction to charting the life course. It's just a 1 hour. I believe the next one is on the 26th. An amazing woman named Angie Chappell is going to do that one for us. And she's just going to spend an hour sort of doing an overview. What is charting the life course? How could this benefit you? What are the key tools and components? What are our guiding principles? All those kinds of things. And so it's a nice way to spend an hour and say, do I want more of this? Or I've heard all I need to know, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Mhm.
So I think those are a couple of the things that are coming up quickly that we can share.
You know, what I came up was thinking about is it a hard sell to get people to actually embrace the tools or even look at it? You know, sometimes people are trained to learn how to use it and they don't put it as part of their programming or their mindset. And
That's
uh,
a great question. When we show charting the life course and the tools, and when you go begin to explore them, they're very simple to look at. And you think, why didn't we
Mhm.
do this before? This is such an easy concept. The more you use it, you understand there's a lot more depth to them. But again, anybody can utilize these tools.
Mhm.
I think that people see it and they think, oh, this is great. What a neat idea. But then where do I start? It
Mhm.
does become the biggest question. We for a long time gathered data. We would do a presentation and we'd say, what did everybody think? And all the evaluations come back. This is great, wonderful, wonderful. And then we'd follow up 6 months later and we'd say, okay, what have you done with it? And people would say, nothing. And we'd say, how come? And they said, I just didn't know how to get started.
Mhm.
So that's what this guided implementation series that we're doing is,
Mhm.
that we're giving them an opportunity to work through it one by one and get started. And then we also offer family implementation, or we call it the family series. You can find those on our website too. That's for families to do the same thing, to learn how to use these things. They just come from slightly different perspectives,
Mhm.
professional versus family kind of thing.
Yeah, and anyone can use it,
Yeah.
disability or not,
Or not.
and
Yeah,
whatever age. But they do guide conversations.
they
And
do.
I actually a lot of times will use uh, the one person page,
Mhm.
which has 3 questions. What do people like and admire about you? What's important to you? And how can we best support you? You know, to me, that's a model of being a friend.
It is
So,
100%.
so
100%.
very, very simple.
Yeah.
Um, so,
I have used the tools for my son, my adult son, who has autism, but I also use them with my daughter who does not have autism. She's very neurotypical, but we used them to build a birth plan for her when she was getting ready to go into the hospital. She talked about what she wanted. That's on our trajectory form. What do I want from this? What do I not want to have happen? And we took
Mhm.
those to the hospital with us and she shared them. And I have to say, the staff was just amazed. They're like, where can we get these? It was so clear and so simple.
Mm.
And I said, yeah, they were showing them to the doctors and everything. I thought that was great.
So again, like you said, you can use it for any
Anybody.
goal setting.
Yeah.
You know, what do you want to do in the next 3 months, a year?
Yeah.
You know, what is your good life?
What is
So,
your good life?
so what? How can a person who said yes, I want to be an ambassador? How do they go about doing that?
Oh, great question. So, um, FRNO, us, we send a few people through the ambassador program each year. If you learn about us and think I might want to work with them, you could reach out to me. I'm sure you'll share my
Mhm.
contact info here,
Mhm.
and we could have a conversation about that. But if you just want to do it on your own, you can visit lifecoursetools.com, and they have a place on the top of their website that I believe it says education, and you can click on that, and you will find a place to join an ambassador series.
And
Life
this
course learning, that's what it's called. Life course learning, not education.
life course. So what's the most rewarding part of working with FRNO?
Helping the families.
Yeah.
I love to, have a family reach out to me, and I'm not going to use the word crisis, but they're stressed. There are things happening and they need help. And to be able to come in and be able to share a few simple tools that people can be receptive to, they're not a lot of work, and then share how they can use those tools. And then they come back and they say, wow, I took that to my son's doctor's office and the visit went so much better because they knew how to support him while he was there. Those kinds of things, feeling the actual impact, hearing from them about how it actually made their lives better. And then, of course, being able to find a resource for a parent or a family member, something they couldn't find on their own, and help them make that connection. Incredibly rewarding.
Yeah, I mean, I love we talk about three basic tools, but there's more. There's
Oh,
more.
so
But
many.
the three basic tools is really your startup kind of thing.
Yes.
And, as an independent living center or center for independent living, we work on independent living skills. And, this is how we can use these tools and ask someone if they say, if they're a self-advocate, what do people like and admire about you? What's
Yeah.
important? And then how can we, uh, serve you or
Yeah. How can we best
support?
support you? Yeah. What do we need to know?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. And in fact, I was just doing it last night with a young adult, and I actually sent the one-page person-centered plan to her, and she typed it in. So she's on the autism
Mhm.
spectrum, and she's a very cool person. I'm so glad that we connected. But it was one way for us to talk because nobody asked people who have DD, what are you all about? What's
Right.
important to you? We
Right.
assume to make life easier, we're going to figure it out, but their life is not the good life that it can be. So
Right.
it's a very empowering kind of scenario. So
It is very empowering. I think that we believe we ask people what they want, but when you really stop and say, tell me, what do you want? I will give you a brief example from my own life. I had ideas of what my son's life should look like. Um, but when I asked him, I said, what do you want? What's your good life? Well, he wants to live at Disney. That's his good life. And so I had to really start thinking about, okay, what might that look like? Is that something we could make happen? And I will tell you that through conversations, he decided he wanted to go to school for robotics because then he could go to Disney and work on the animatronics and the things they have there. And he could live in an apartment near Disney. And then on his day off, he had already looked into it and he knew he could go to the parks for free. So it's not a bad plan,
no,
right?
it
He
sounds
had
like a
thought it through.
great plan.
I like it, but it sounded kind of crazy. I want to live at Disney, but it opened the door to those conversations. Like you
Yes,
said, Deborah, it started a conversation to make a plan for a good life that he is still aspiring to achieve. He would like to do that someday. So
that's
I think it's cool.
amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Um, And I think of how many people love Disney. They
Yeah,
would probably want to hear his story
absolutely.
when he gets his job and when he's living there.
That's right.
So, we're coming to the end of this time, and I don't know if the Facebook Live thing worked or not, but we're recorded here.
Yes.
Um, is there anything I haven't asked you that you think is important for people listening to know?
I think I would just want to make sure that we tell them where the website is. It's www.frnohio.org. And when you go to the website, you're going to see a picture. And right below it, right now, we have a lovely little video, and it's entitled How the One Page Person-Centered Description Helped Ella in a Hospital Setting. It's
Mm,
just a little 5-minute video. And I think it's a wonderful introduction to how using one of these tools can really be helpful in a person that we love's lives. And she's a young woman who has autism, and she shared about how it really helped her to have the comfort of just being able to hand this to someone. And I think it's a great thing to do and visit. And make sure that you take a look at our videos page too, because we have little short video like this for 5 minutes, but we also have a bunch of great videos on there where we've recorded sessions. Feel free to plunk around on there, explore, watch a few things, and then reach back out to us if there's questions or if we can provide service to you in any way. That's what we're here for.
Mhm. Well, I appreciate you, Tracey, for who you are, and we enjoy working together. I
You.
thank you for your time.
I thank
I'm
you and
hoping
appreciate
people
you.
will tap in to what you're doing and
Thank you.
what's coming in the future. So thank you so much
Thank you,
for
Deborah.
being with us.
I appreciate it. Thank you for having me today.